You're mad, I'm back. Big mad, he's mad, she's mad, big sad. Ha ha, don't care, stay mad. Ha.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Andy's History Lessons. I'm back. Yes, after such a long time, I am back. And the reason why I've been gone so long is, as I said in a previous video, my grandpa suffered an injury, but the biggest reason why I've been gone so long is I had a terrible internet provider that we just recently got rid of, and the one we have now is far superior to the original provider. So hopefully, now that I have internet that works, I'll be able to upload videos on a more regular basis from here on out. So yes, the channel just reached 100 subscribers. I'm very excited, and I figured to commemorate reaching 100 subscribers, we would talk about the 100 Years' War. So here we go. And these notes are directly quoted from the website Britannica.com. I know that .com websites are not credible sources sometimes, but this particular one has provided me with the necessary information for quite some time. So here we go. I highly recommend Britannica.com, by the way. The 100 Years' War was fought between France and England from 1337 to 1453 over a series of disputes, including the question of the legitimate succession to the French crown. The war involved several generations of English and French claimants to the crown and actually occupied a period of more than 100 years. By convention, the war is said to have started on May 24, 1337, with the confiscation of the English-held Duchy of Guyenne by French King Philip VI. This confiscation, however, had been preceded by periodic fighting over the question of English fiefs in France going back to the 12th century. So, in case you don't know, fief, F-I-E-F, like that, is a plot of land that a nobleman was entitled to, but had to pay taxes on it to the royals. Causes of the 100 Years' War. The complicated political relationship existing between France and England in the first half of the 14th century ultimately derived from the position of William the Conqueror, who I did a video on. I did a video on King William the Conqueror's death, and I'll put a card linking you to it at the end of the video. William the Conqueror, the first sovereign ruler of England, who also held fiefs on the continent of Europe as a vassal of the French king. The natural alarm caused to the Capetian kings by their overmighty vassals, the Dukes of Normandy, who were also kings of England, was greatly increased in the 1150s. Henry Plantagenet, I hope I'm saying that right, already Duke of Normandy and Count of Anjou, became not only Duke of Aquitaine, but also King of England as Henry II in 1154. And now I'm going to talk about some battles, and these are the top 5 most important battles of the 100 Years' War, according to the website historyhit.com. And once again, these notes are directly quoted from the website. Battle number 1, the Battle of Crécy. In 1346, Edward III invaded France through Normandy, taking the port of Caen and burning and pillaging a path of destruction through northern France. On hearing that King Philip IV was raising an army to defeat him, he turned north and moved along the coast until he reached the small forest of Crécy. Here, they decided to wait for the enemy. The French outnumbered the English, but fell foul of the English longbow. The ability to fire every 5 seconds gave them a huge advantage, and as the French attacked again and again, the English archers wreaked havoc amongst French soldiers. Eventually, a wounded Philip accepted defeat and retreated. The battle was a decisive English victory. The French suffered heavy losses, and the victory allowed the English to take the port of Calais, which became a valued English possession for the next 200 years. Battle number 2, the Battle of Poitiers, or pointers, I guess would be the English equivalent. Je parle français. Anyways, in 1355, England's heir, Edward, known as the Black Prince, landed at Bordeaux, while the Duke of Lancaster landed with a second force in Normandy and began to push south. They were opposed by the new French king, John II, who forced Lancaster to withdraw towards the coast. He then set off in pursuit of the English and caught up with them at Poitiers. Initially, it seemed as if the odds were stacked against the Black Prince. His army was vastly outnumbered, and he offered to return the loot he had plundered during his march. However, John was convinced the English did not stand any chance in battle and refused. The battle was again won by the archers, many of whom were veterans of Crécy. King John was captured. His son, the Dauphin Charles, was left to rule. Faced with populist uprisings and a widespread feeling of discontent, the first episode of the war, often known as the Edwardian episode, is generally seen to have concluded after Poitiers. Battle number 3, the Battle of Agincourt. With the French King Charles suffering mental health problems, Henry V decided to grab the chance to rekindle England's old claims in France. After negotiations fell through, the English still had the French King John and were demanding ransom payments. Henry invaded Normandy and laid siege to Harfleur. French forces were not assembled fast enough to relieve Harfleur, but they did put enough pressure on English forces to force them into battle at Agincourt. Whilst the French were thought to have at least double the forces of the English, the ground was extremely muddy. Expensive suits of armor proved more of a help than a hindrance in the mud, and under the rapid fire of English archers and their powerful longbows, up to 6,000 French soldiers were slaughtered in horrific conditions. Henry executed many more prisoners after the battle. The unexpected victory left Henry in control of Normandy and cemented the Lancastrian dynasty back in England. Agincourt is remarkably well documented, with at least 7 contemporary accounts, 3 of which belong to eyewitnesses in known existence. The battle has been immortalized by Shakespeare's Henry V and remains iconic in the English imagination. Battle number 4, the Siege of Orleans. One of the biggest French victories of the 100 Years' War came courtesy of a teenage girl, Joan of Arc, or Jeanne d'Arc. I may do a video of her in the future. Joan of Arc was convinced she had been ordained by God to defeat the English, and more importantly, so was the French Prince Charles VII. He gave her an army to lead against the English, which she used to lift the siege of Orleans. This paved the way for the French prince to be crowned at Reims. She, however, was later captured by the Burgundians and handed over to the English, who had her executed. Orleans itself was a significant city both militarily and symbolically for both sides. Whilst the English had lost the city itself, they still considered much of the surrounding region, and it took several more battles and months for the French to finally consecrate Charles as King Charles VII. Battle number 5, the Battle of Castillon. Under Henry VI, England lost most of the gains of Henry V. A force attempted to regain them, but was dealt a crushing defeat at Castillon, with high casualties as a result of poor leadership from John Talbot, Earl of Shrewsbury. The battle is noted in the development of warfare as being the first battle in Europe in which field artillery, known as cannons at the time, played a major role. For all their victories during the war at Crécy, Poitiers, and Agincourt, the loss at Castillon saw England lose all their territories in France except for Calais, which remained in English hands until 1558. The battle is considered by most to mark the end of the 100 Years' War, although this would not necessarily have seemed obvious to contemporaries. centuries. King Henry VI had a major mental breakdown later in 1453. Many consider the news of the defeat at Castillon to have been a trigger. Okay, guys, that is it. This concludes my 100 subscribers special. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I am so excited that my channel hit 100 subscribers. I've been on YouTube for 4 years now and just hit 100 subscribers. That is amazing. Please remember to like this video, leave a comment, share it with your friends and family, follow me on Facebook at AndyDeandrea2, and subscribe to the channel. Let's keep this going. Let's keep assembling the Andy's History Lessons army. I hope that y'all have had a good day, or that you are having a good day. Peace out and rock on.